Hello everyone, and welcome to Wednesday here on Pagan Perspective. I'm your host Eric. This week we're talking about raising children in a Wiccan household and being a teen witch. So a few months ago, Malie0096 sent us a question, and I'm going to read it in its entirety. I am the mother of 2 children. I believe I'm doing well raising them in a Wiccan, free-thinking household. We own 2 copies of the Bible and celebrate Easter and Christmas as a means of getting together with the family and seeing what the Easter Bunny/Santa has brought. I also celebrate Sabbats with my eldest daughter, as well as hold circle on full moons with her. What would you tell a parent raising children in an open Wiccan pagan household? I don't want to barrage them with Wicca, but at the same time I try to be open to Christian-minded questions. It's so hard to find a balance given the outside world that seems predominantly Christian, especially when I'm a witch and I feel that sometimes people that know my children may or may not hold that against them. Any thoughts? We'll follow up a little bit later with Red Dragon 033195. He asks, Teen witchcraft. How should teens introduce spirituality and pagan beliefs to parents, and how should spellcraft be explained if the subject is brought up? This video is going to go really long. Sorry about that. So, very first off, I want to talk about Malie. One, I commend you on being openly pagan Wiccan. Not everybody can be. A lot of people hide it from people. I mean, it's really none of the outside world's business as to what religion we do or don't believe in. So I have to commend you on, being proud enough to stand up and say, this is me, I will be counted. Secondly, I think you're doing pretty well from according to what your I would call this a letter, or at least a short note. What you've written here, being open to answering questions that are other faith-based, whether they be Christian or Catholic or Buddhist or any of the Jewish, whatever. Being willing to answer those questions to the best of your knowledge is really going to be the best bet, and being willing to say, I don't know. One of the things that I've learned the hard way is saying I don't know is being a better teacher than making things up. And really, in my experience, especially with my 10-year-old, it's a lot better to say, you know what, I don't know, we'll look it up later, than to try and get to lie to them, basically. Another thing that I can say is, as I am openly pagan, and my son's mother is not, we're not together anymore, so, there's no contention there. He goes to church more often with her than he practices ritual with me. Currently, I talk to him about it. He doesn't seem terribly interested in the idea of practicing or doing ritual with me and mine. And, that's perfectly acceptable. It's really each to his own. It's one of those things where, yes, if they express an interest, then give them any information that they ask for. What do you want to know about it? Delve into what they like about it, and, use that to kind of further them along the path of studying. Don't force it on them, obviously, and as for the whole, barrage of information and things of that nature, it's bound to happen one way or another, whether it's from a younger age or when they're old enough to handle it. Really, younger kids are malleable, they get it. Celebrating Easter and Christmas, I do that with my family as well. We don't do Easter so much, but we do Christmas together. And, kudos and points for that. It's all the same basic idea. So I think, really, honestly, you're on the right track. Just be patient, be open, don't try and hide anything. If you're not berating people from other religions and their beliefs and their desires, that's fantastic. Now, I'm not saying that you can't point out that lots of people don't practice what they preach, because that's really how a lot of people are. There are pagans I know that are the exact same way. But let's see. If you feel that people may or may not hold the idea of you being pagan, if they hold that against your kids, then I would say that's a learning experience that your kids are going to go through one way or another, even if they decide they don't want to be pagan and they want to go a more traditionally Christian route, or Abrahamic in general. I would say, as long as you don't judge them for that, and they don't start to judge you for it either, it's going to be an experience that brings you closer together as a family. It's when our faith is persecuted, it becomes stronger. I know it's hard to understand. Well, it's not hard to understand, but it's hard to go through. I feel for you. Moving right along. If there's any questions, Malik, that you have, or anything that I didn't cover well enough, feel free to leave comments in the comments section, and I will respond to them as soon as I can. Anybody else, also feel free to leave comments, and I'll do my best to respond. But moving on to Red Dragon 033195, teen witchcraft, and how should teens introduce spirituality and pagan beliefs to parents, and how should spellcraft be explained if the subject is brought up? So that's two different questions. The first of which is bringing it up to your parents is going to be an exceedingly difficult thing to do. It's going to be one of those things that needs to be eased into slowly. It can't be one of those things, and this is also, again, in my experience, it can't be one of those things where you just walk in and go, well, Mom, Dad, I'm not Christian anymore. Because that's going to cause a huge fight and a falling out, and they're not going to want to talk to you for a while. It's upsetting, but it's true. One of the things that I was able to do with my parents was just kind of little baby steps with the idea of, well, why is it that our religion believes that? I don't know if I agree with that. I'll have to do some thinking on that. And then talk to them about it. And, then talk to them about, well, how do you feel about me going a different way with my spiritual belief and my spiritual understanding? I see things a little bit differently than it's been explained. There's a couple of major issues with my religion that I've had issues with, so I'm kind of stepping away from that a little bit. I'm not throwing it out completely, but there are some things that just aren't addressed. Comments like that can kind of ease you in the direction of finally saying to your parents, well, I don't believe my spirituality is so much Christian anymore. Depending on what faith you've decided to go into, the god and goddess can still be the God of Abraham. You can ask Christo Witch about that. The goddess can be his wife, who never actually gets mentioned much or talked about in the Bible or any of the other various Abrahamic books. So you can still be kind of Christian and kind of pagan, and you can have your own beliefs, and you could even theoretically, like the Buddhists do, believe that Jesus was a fantastic person and part of the Godheads. The multiple pantheons of the world, they think he's part of it, but he's just yet another one of the hundreds of thousands of gods that are out there. As for spellcraft, gardeners, this is one of the very few times I referred to Gardner, but Gardner, or maybe it was Aleister Crowley, I don't remember which one, goodness. At any rate, at some point it was stated that magic and spellcraft is nothing more than, and I'm paraphrasing here, so you'll have to forgive me, imposing your own will upon your surroundings to get them to change and do what they would do naturally, just in your benefit. So basically, when somebody says, "Oh, magic, can you change my hair color?" No. Can you turn me into a werewolf? No. Can you no, vampires? No, 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 no. You explain to them rather simply, it is the idea of sending out my desire into the multiply faceted world of the universe, so that anything that may react with that and bring me what I want, but not outside of what it would naturally do. That's really the best you can hope for with spellcraft and things of that nature. But Cara has a fantastic video on that on her channel, so I would go watch that. QWitch772, plug you. Anyhow, I would go and I would watch her video, and you can get a pretty decent idea of basically what that's talking about. When the subject of spellcraft and magic comes up, you say, well, it's not as potent and instantaneous as everybody seems to think it is, especially because of popular media. So I do hope that answered your question more or less. Again, Red Dragon 033195. If you have any questions, if there's anything I didn't discuss well enough, feel free to leave those comments in the comment section, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. As for everybody else out there, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and of course, until next time, Odin be with you.